Good evening. There's the chimes. It is 6:00 p.m., and I'd like to call the meeting of the Peoria City Council to order. I'd like to welcome our chamber audience as well as Joe Deacon and their listening audience at WCBU as well as cable channel 22. Madam Clerk, the council mics are open. Could you please call the roll? Present.
Here.
Here.
Here. Here. Here. Here. Present.
Thank you. Okay. Madam Clerk. Oh, let me make sure your mic is open. Okay, there you go.
Okay. We are at the invocation and pledge.
Okay. Thank you. Please join me for a moment of silent prayer or silent reflection, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk.
We are at proclamations.
Okay. And we do have 3 proclamations and then followed by a special award. The first proclamation I'm going to ask to be actually received by 2 of our council members, Council Member Allen and Council Member Jackson. You can stay where you are, but I know that you were responsible for helping to share these proclamations at Juneteenth events this past Saturday. There was also a proclamation that was read at the Contemporary Arts Center that evening. There were events at John Gwynn Park at Carver Center, at the Southside Community Center. So at least 3 events all over town that celebrated Juneteenth. And for those that don't know about this special holiday, I'm going to you'll share some information with you through the reading of the proclamation. Whereas Juneteenth, also called Emancipation Day and Freedom Day, commemorates the traditional observance of the end of slavery in the United States. It is observed annually on June 19th. And whereas on January 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation to end slavery in the United States, and whereas more than 2 years passed before the news reached enslaved black people in Texas, on June 19, 1865, Union Major General Gordon Granger and his soldiers arrived in Galveston and spread the word that slavery had been abolished. And whereas Juneteenth is a day for all of us to reflect on what has happened since 1865 and to celebrate the social, economic, and cultural contributions of African Americans in the United States. Whereas on June 16, 2021, Governor J.B. Pritzker signed House Bill 3992 naming Juneteenth as National Freedom Day and designating it a state holiday. And whereas on June 17, 2021, President Biden signed legislation into law establishing June 19th as Juneteenth National Independence Day. And whereas Juneteenth is the oldest nationally celebrated commemoration of the ending of slavery, the city of Peoria stands in solidarity with our African American community, and we encourage the public to attend one of the many celebrations on this day, which they did. Now, therefore, I, Rita Ali, Mayor of the City of Peoria, Illinois, do hereby acknowledge and celebrate the 19th of June as Juneteenth in Peoria, Illinois. We want to thank all the city employees. Several departments coordinated with Mr. Doolin and the city manager and several others. We want to thank them for their participation, as well as the leadership of Councilmember Allen and Councilmember Jackson. Our next proclamation is for the Heart of Illinois Fair. I'd like to ask Ms. Erica Abendroth, President of the Board of Directors of the Heart of Illinois Fair, and Roxy Baker, Director of the Heart of Illinois Fair, and Charlie Kennel, Director of Heart of Illinois Fair, to come forth, please. You're very welcome. Thank you for being here. We're excited. Whereas the Heart of Illinois Fair has been a Central Illinois tradition since 1949, and whereas the Heart of Illinois Fair, scheduled for July 13th through 17th at Expo Garden, continues to be a draw for residents and visitors. Event information may be found at heartofillinoisfair.com. And whereas with tractor pulls, a demolition derby, carnival rides, live entertainment, food, and competitive events, and livestock shows that showcase the talents of our friends and neighbors, the HOI Fair has something for everybody. And whereas the 2021 HO Fair is also excited to announce two inaugural events, the Heart of Illinois Got Talent Competition and the Heart of Illinois Hero Awards. Whereas the Heart of Illinois Fair is excited to set the stage for talent ranging from music to comedy to theater to magic and more, the Heart of Illinois Got Talent Competition will showcase talent from the region every night of the fair. Cash prizes will be awarded when the winners are crowned on Friday, July 16th. And whereas to acknowledge the challenges of the past year, the HOI Fair also wants to recognize our heroes. Many of our neighbors and friends have gone above and beyond during the pandemic to keep our community safe and running. The HOI Fair wants to acknowledge their efforts and is now accepting nominations from the public. The Heart of Illinois Hero Award winners will be recognized with a ribbon cutting, a parade, and a prize presentation. Now, therefore, I, Rita Ali, Mayor of the City of Peoria, Illinois, do hereby encourage visitors and residents to attend Heart of Illinois Fair in Peoria, Illinois. Glad you're back.
It is so good to be back. Thank you, Mayor. I am Roxy Baker, and this is Erica Abendroth. Erica is president, but she's a little shy, and I like to talk. So here we are. And the Heart of Illinois Fair, as you know, 1949 got its start. It's based in agriculture. That is what Central Illinois is based on. As we've grown as a community, more things have been more important or as important. And talent in music, in my opinion, is pretty important. So we would like to showcase all the entertaining, talented people right here in Central Illinois, as we do with the heroes. The heroes are so important, and we appreciate tonight, and we appreciate all of you doing your civic duty and public servants. I commend you all. We are volunteers, and we want the Heart of Illinois Fair to be spectacular again. It's been a long 16, 17 months. We're ready to get out there, celebrate our farmers. I see on the painting behind you the beautiful corn and the tiller, and that is what we're rooted in. And I hope you can all come out and enjoy. Thank you so much. And nominate a hero. And if you know somebody with talent, send them our way. Thank you so
Great.
much.
Thank you. Well said. Our last proclamation, there we go, recognizes our, not interim anymore, our Secretary of Transportation, Omer Osman. We're glad to see that interim disappear off of his title. Can you come forth, Secretary? Whereas tonight, we acknowledge Illinois Department of Transportation Secretary Omer Osman on his receipt of the Honorable Ray LaHood Award for WTS Greater Chicago. This honor is bestowed to outstanding leaders who have exhibited a commitment to the advancement of women and minorities in the transportation industry. Whereas Secretary Osman has advocated for opportunities for women and minorities not only within the industry, but also has worked to increase opportunities for minority and women-owned businesses. And whereas Secretary Osman has worked for IDOT since 1989, thus allowing him to understand the intricacies of the department and the needs of the residents of Illinois. And whereas throughout his time with IDOT, Secretary Osman has always pushed to eliminate barriers while increasing access to opportunities to ensure equity and diversity. And whereas during the pandemic, it became even more evident how critical safe bridges and roads were to providing supplies to people around Illinois. We thank Secretary Osman for not only maintaining safe roads and bridges, but for continuing to improve our infrastructure, which is vital for all residents and visitors. Whereas people around the state recognize him as the Secretary of Transportation, but we have the great honor to also know him as a proud Peorian. Now, therefore, I, Rita Ali, Mayor of the City of Peoria, do hereby acknowledge the leadership and achievements of Secretary Omer Osman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the committee. I'm truly, I don't know what to say. I'm truly humbled and honored. That was a lot of the write-up, and I know staff helped out with that. You need to know I pay them, so they had to say the right thing there. But I'm honored, especially because this particular award is named after my hero, Secretary LaHood, and it was meant for a woman in transportation. And it's a national award, and I accepted it maybe a month and a half ago. But it's not for me. I have a 5,200 strong employee, very diverse, especially at the executive leadership level. And it's something that I have been striving to do, the diversity side, throughout my career. But I found a hero who is helping me out in that effort, and that's our governor, who truly believes in diversity and inclusion. I always say specifically this when I have a daughter who's 15 years old, and this is for her. Her name is Nadine, and I know this means a lot to her. It means a lot to my wife, and my middle son. All three of them are watching it somewhere on YouTube channel, but I do have my son over here who is wanted to see this live. My friend Tanya Adam, my friend Imad Mohammed, Pam Adams, they decided to show up. So I'm truly humbled and I'm honored to accept this award, and for that I do thank you, and yes, Peoria is home. Thank you.
Congratulations. This last item is not actually a proclamation. In fact, this group kind of flipped the script, and they are actually making an award. I would like to ask Colleen Johnson, Executive Director of the Peoria Historical Society, and Ed Berry to come forth with the 2021 Historic Preservation Award.
Lovely to see all of you in person. And we've asked Ed Berry, who is on the Board of Trustees, to come and present the award, as he's been intricately involved in in all of this, and we're thrilled to be here.
Thank you, Colleen, and thank you very much, Honorable Mayor and honorable members of the City Council and senior staff. We are delighted to take just a few minutes of your time, pleased to take a few minutes of your time to present you with this award. At the base of one of the concrete pylons of the Murray Baker Bridge, there's a plaque that reads, "The decorative lighting of the Murray Baker Bridge, an idea conceived and planned by D. James Jumer, was officially dedicated on July 4th, 1991. In a designation ceremony aboard the Spirit of Peoria, Mr. Jumer, Leonard B. Marshall Jr., chairman of the funding drive, James Maloof, mayor of Peoria, and Jeff Giebelhausen, mayor of East Peoria, turned on 156 ornamental lights. This project is an outstanding example of intergovernmental cooperation working with private enterprise. 30 years hence, the Peoria Historical Society is both delighted and honored to present you with their annual Historic Preservation Award for the decorative relighting of the project. Certainly, this has been an incredible addition to our community, and it should not go unnoticed that the collaboration mentioned in that plaque 30 years ago is still very much alive and well in our community. Both the cities of Peoria and East Peoria, the counties of Peoria and Tazewell were all a part of this project, and if I might add, our Honorable Secretary of Transportation obviously played a huge role in accomplishing all of this. For the Peoria Historical Society, the decorative relighting of the Murray Baker Bridge represents a confluence of three wonderful gems of history. First of all, as most of you know, the bridge is named in honor of a gentleman who was instrumental in making Peoria the home of Caterpillar for darn near a century. Secondly, it is an excellent example of cantilever engineering, which is becoming a bit historic because a lot of the newer, younger brethren, in terms of bridges that you see around the world, are the flashier, jazzier, tinsel-type bridges. And so it really is a wonderful example of its type of bridge. And lastly, but by no means least, as mentioned a second ago, the bridge is 63 years old, but the decorative lighting, the original lighting, would be celebrating its 30th anniversary in about 2 weeks' time. And so it really is an incredible commemoration of that. And I would encourage you all to go see the plaque because it really is who's who of the glitterati of Peoria in 1991. And many of you may see relatives, friends, organizations that you currently work for or are involved with or did work for previously on that plaque. So again, thank you very much for just taking a moment of your time to present you with this award. One last collaborative item I'd like to mention is Keep Peoria Beautiful, another wonderful part of our community, has stepped up, and they, along with us, and we'll be working with the city and the Park District and so forth, we would like to refurbish a little bit the area around the original plaque and add a new chapter to that in its history. The Peoria Evening Garden Club, of which there's a separate little plaque adjacent, originally did the landscaping, but as they say, Keep Peoria Beautiful and the Peoria Historical Society will be working in collaboration to refurbish that and add this new chapter. So we really appreciate everything you've done for this Murray Baker Bridge relighting as well as the overall upgrading of the bridge, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Berry, for providing that historical perspective. Thank you. And Ms. Johnson, for your leadership. We accept this award happily. Okay. On behalf of the city of Peoria, as well as everyone who's been involved in this project. Thank you so very much. Councilmember Euler.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I won't mention how old I was when the bridge was lit for the first time in 1991, but I currently serve as president of the board for Peoria Historical Society, and it's great to be here in both of these capacities because it's incredibly important, the focus that we put on the heritage of our community and making improvements to the history in our community. And Ed Berry mentioned the group of business owners that went together to spend a couple $100 a piece to light the bridge up for the first time. Well, over time, those bulbs go out and time passes and things fade, and the next thing you know, all of the bulbs are out and the plants die around it, and what a difference it has made for the bridge in our downtown area to have it relit again. And that just goes to show you the importance of the investment in our heritage parts of our community and our history here in the city of Peoria, and what a difference it can make for all of us when we work together to invest in it. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well said.
Madam Mayor, I just would
Yes.
want to acknowledge Councilman Euler as well. Sorry, we failed to do that. He, as president, as he mentioned, of the Peoria Historical Society, is providing wonderful leadership to our organization.
We
Sorry.
appreciate his leadership there and here. Thank you. Madam Clerk,
We are at the minutes.
Councilmember Euler.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I move to approve the minutes of the joint Peoria City Council and Town Board meeting held on June 8th, 2021, and the special City Council meeting held on June 12th, 2021, as printed.
Okay, seconded by Councilmember Jackson. Okay. Let's see, open voting. Okay, please cast your ballots. Unanimously. Madam Clerk?
21-155 is an appointment by Mayor Rita Ali of replacement of at-large council member to fill the vacancy in that position.
Okay. We are very, very pleased to have Dr. Karen Velpula on the agenda to be voted in for the at-large seat. Council member, Councilmember Graham?
Madam Chairman, Mayor Rita Ali, I move to concur with the recommendation that the Peoria City Council appoint Dr. Karen Velpula of Peoria, Illinois, to serve as an at-large Peoria City Council member select for the balance of the unexpired at-large term pursuant to 65 ILCS 552-18.7 and 65 ILCS 552-12G as outlined.
Get a second? Councilmember Riggenbach. Any discussion? Okay, please cast your ballots. Unanimous. Yes. Congratulations, Dr. Velpula. Can you come forth? Madam Clerk, can you perform the swearing in?
I, Kiran Velpula. Do solemnly swear. That I will support. The Constitution. Of the United States. And the Constitution. Of the State of Illinois. And that I faithfully discharge. The duties of the office. Of council member at bear with me. I wrote a big paragraphs. Okay. First of all, I'm very excited and happy to be here today and to be selected for the at-large position. I feel extremely responsible and accountable. I wanted to extend my sincere thanks and appreciation to all the council members seated here and Mayor Dr. Rita Ali, and special thanks to City Manager, City Clerk, and staff for helping my incoming. I wanted to take time to thank my parents, my wife, my son, my siblings, my family, my relatives, and to all my very good friends for believing in me. I'm standing here just because of their love, sacrifice, and support. Especially, I'm grateful to my wife. I want to thank the citizens of Peoria for blessing my family. I'm nervous, as you can see, but I am eager to work with the learned council and with the mayor, Dr. Rita Ali. And thank you again.
Please join us. Welcome, Councilmember Velpula. We're pleased to have you join the City Council. And we're going to go right into business, so be prepared to vote. Madam Clerk?
We have one public hearing. 21-157 is a public hearing regarding the proposed annexation of a property having the temporary address of 8600 North Radnor Road, Peoria, Illinois.
And I will ask the question 3 times if needed. Is there anyone present who would like to speak to this item on the public hearing agenda? Is there anyone present who would like to speak to this item on the agenda? Is there anyone present who would like to speak to this item on the agenda? I think I need a motion to open the public hearing first. Moved by Councilmember Jensen, seconded by Councilmember Euler, and I do need to get a motion to open the public hearing, please. If you cast your ballots, please. Okay. Thank you. At this time, I would like to ask if there's anyone who would like to speak to this item on the agenda. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this item on the agenda? Is there anyone present who would like to speak to this item on the agenda? Hearing none, I would like to ask for a motion to close the public hearing. Moved by Councilmember Kelly, seconded by Councilmember Riggenbach. Okay, so let's cast your ballots, please. Okay. Public hearing is closed, Madam Clerk.
We are at the consent agenda. 21-158 is a communication from the Mayor and Corporation Council with a request to approve the declaration of local state of emergency. 21-159 is a communication with a request to approve the following. A, the purchase of 2 battalion chiefs' vehicles utilizing the State of Illinois joint purchasing contracts from Miles Chevrolet in the amount of $84,326, and B, approve the purchase and installation of associated equipment, lights, sirens, radios, utilizing the current electronic services contract with Supreme Radio in the amount of $22,222. 21-160 is a communication with a request to authorize the city manager to renew property and contents insurance coverage and auto catastrophic insurance coverage with the city's property broker, Alliant Insurance Services, Inc., for a cost not to exceed $311,482.62, inclusive of fees. 21-161 is a communication with a request to approve a 5-year site lease agreement between the City of Peoria and Peoria Public Schools District 150 for $500 per year. 21-162 is a communication with a request to adopt an ordinance approving the private streets, private street names, and private street maintenance agreement for Taft Homes, a multifamily residential development located along the south side of Northeast Adams Street between Bryan Street and Wayne Street, Peoria, Illinois. 21-163 is a communication with a request to concur with the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff to adopt an ordinance approving a special use in a Class R6 multifamily residential district for the transfer of property for 4 dwelling units for the property located at 1106 Northeast Jefferson Avenue, Peoria, Illinois. 21-164 is a communication with a request to concur with a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff to adopt an ordinance rezoning property from a Class R4 single-family residential district to a Class CN neighborhood commercial district for the properties located at 309 South Warren Street, 2808 Southwest Jefferson Street, and 2810 Southwest Jefferson Street, Peoria, Illinois. 21-165 is a communication from the mayor with a request to adopt an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 of the Code of the City of Peoria pertaining to the number of commissioners serving on the Peoria Public Arts Advisory Commission. 21-166 is a communication from the city manager and director of community development with a request to concur with a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff for the following. A, to approve a resolution approving an annexation agreement for the property located at a temporary address of 8600 North Radnor Road. B, adopt an ordinance annexing property located at temporary address 8600 North Radnor Road. And C, to adopt an ordinance rezoning property from the Class R3 single-family residential district to a Class I1 industrial business park district for the property located at a temporary address of 8600 North Radnor Road. 21-167 is a communication with a request to approve the site application for a Class B restaurant 50% food liquor license with on-site consumption and retail sale of alcohol at Jersey Crab, Inc., doing business as Jersey Crab, 5315 West Landon's Way, contingent upon issuance of all appropriate permits and a certificate of occupancy, with a recommendation from the Liquor Commission to approve. 21-168 is an appointment by Mayor Ali to the Public Arts Advisory Commission with a request to concur of May Gilliland Wright. 21-169 is an appointment and reappointment by Mayor Ali to the Advisory Committee on Police and Community Relations with a request to concur of Channel Hargrave Murray, Andre Allen, Allison Galvin, and Karen Wilson. 21-170 is a reappointment by Mayor Ali to the CDBG Public Service Advisory Commission with a request to concur of Lisa Fuller and Kimberly McGee. 21-171 is a reappointment by Mayor Ali to the Constitution Garden Advisory Committee with a request to concur of Cindy Bertino. 21-172 is a reappointment by Mayor Ali to the Construction Commission with a request to concur of Stephen Cicerelli and Brad Hall. 21-173 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Downtown Advisory Commission with a request to concur of John Needy and Mark Misselhorn. 21-174 is an appointment by Mayor Ali to the Fair Employment Commission with a request to concur of Denise Moore. 21-175 is a reappointment by Mayor Ali to the Historic Preservation Commission with a request to concur of David Stotz. 21-176 is a reappointment by Mayor Ali to the Liquor Commission with a request to concur of Paul Winkler. 21-177 is an appointment and reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Municipal Band Commission with a request to concur of Molly Slaughter, Don Baker, Lee Wenger, and Mary Barthel. 21-178 is a reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Mayor's Advisory Committee for Citizens with Disabilities with a request to concur of Terry Rourke and Kay Berry. 21-179 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Peoria Civic Center Authority with a request to concur of Christelle Frosto. 21-180 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Peoria Housing Authority with a request to concur of Kadar Hefner and Carl Cannon. 21-181 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Peoria Public Library Board of Trustees with a request to concur of Stephen Buck and Tiffany Duncan. 21-182 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Peoria Urban Forestry Advisory Board with a request to concur of Michael Wilkins and Matt Freeman. 21-183 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Planning and Zoning Commission with a request to concur of Eric Hurd, Richard Unas, and Brandon Martin. 21-184 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Public Arts Advisory Commission with a request to concur of Jonathan Romaine, Perry Johnson, and Bill Conger. 21-185 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Riverfront Program and Policy Advisory Committee with a request to concur of Patrick Wilmington, Sean Crombie, and Susie Stockman. 21-186 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Sister City Commission with a request to concur of Julie Enzenberger and Randy Curry. 21-187 is an appointment and reappointment by Mayor Ali to the Solid Waste Disposal Landfill Committee with a request to concur of Councilman Tim Riggenbach and Stephen Van Winkle. 21-188 is an appointment and reappointment by Mayor Ali to the Tourism Reserve Fund with a request to concur of Dr. Kieran Velpula and Timothy Spears. 21-189 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Transportation Commission with a request to concur of Jeremy Kors, Jason Snyder, Brandon Lott, Michael Breback, Patrick McNamara, and George Garib. 21-190 are reappointments by Mayor Ali to the Zoning Board of Appeals with a request to concur of Douglas Drager and Lon Lyons. 21-191 are appointments by Mayor Ali to the Fire and Police Commission with a request to concur of Crystal Gothard and John Williams, Jr. 21-192 are appointments by Mayor Ali to the Greater Peoria Mass Transit District Board of Trustees with a request to concur of Jeffrey Hare and Patty Sterling Polk. 21-193 are appointments by Mayor Ali to the East Village Grow Cell Committee with a request to concur of Shannon Tetchy and Kevin Evans. 21-194 is a reappointment by Mayor Ali to the Springdale Cemetery Management Authority with a request to concur of Robert D. Manning. And that concludes our consent agenda.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. You have a strong voice, good lungs, and lots of patience. There was clearly a lot of appointments. There's clearly lots of appointments or reappointments because of all the expirations that take place at the end of June. This is not a typical month of appointments. So thank you for reading all of those. So are there any items, council, that you would like to pull from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda, moved by Councilmember Sear, seconded by Councilmember Ruckriegel, excuse me, Councilman. Any comments, questions? Okay. Please cast your ballots. Approved unanimously. Madam Clerk?
We are at first readings. 21-195 is a communication from the City Manager and Director of Community Development with a request to concur with a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff to receive and file a first reading of an ordinance amending Appendix A, the Unified Development Code, relating to fulfillment centers.
Mr. Urick?
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd like to ask Director Black to come to the microphone to just explain a little bit about what we're going to be doing here with this proposed ordinance change for fulfillment centers.
Director Black?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, thank you. This is a request for an ordinance amendment that is related to some requests that we've received from business owners locally and also on a national basis. Currently, we don't have any type of use in our zoning ordinance for fulfillment centers. We do have a warehouse use, but we consider fulfillment centers to be a little bit different because these are locations where items would be delivered and packaged and then taken out for delivery to residential or commercial properties. So there's a lot more ongoing activity at these locations. The recommendation that we have before you is to make two different types of fulfillment centers, either permitted uses or special uses in different zoning districts. So the smaller scale fulfillment centers would be permitted uses in all of the commercial districts, the industrial districts, and the office districts. And what constitutes a small scale fulfillment center is a building that is less than 15,000 square feet. The large scale fulfillment centers, or buildings larger than 15,000 square feet, would be permitted uses in the industrial districts, the C2 district, which is our large scale commercial district. Think Northwoods Mall or some of the larger shopping centers in town, and would be a special use in the CG district, which is the larger commercial district in the older part of the city. So we believe that not only will this provide an opportunity for fulfillment centers if they choose to locate in Peoria, but it also provides an opportunity for the reuse of currently vacant commercial space that may not be viable right now to be refilled with typical retail uses. Thank you.
Questions for Director Black? Councilmember Kelly?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Director Black, if we have a fulfillment center that has multiple buildings, none of which, let's say, are 15,000 square feet, is it into which category would that be, or would that still be the small size?
Councilman, if I understand the question, if say it was a shopping center with 5 or 6 connected, kind of a strip mall type shopping center with 5 or 6 connected buildings, if one of those spaces was a fulfillment center and was less than 15,000 square feet, then it would be considered small scale, even if the totality of the buildings was greater than 15,000 square feet.
I think we're on the same wavelength, but I'm not sure. I have a company. I locate myself in Pioneer Park or in the warehouse district or whatever, and my fulfillment center takes up 3 buildings that are not connected. But they're, let's say it's one property, one big piece of land. Which way does that go?
If it was one parcel of land with multiple buildings on it and together they were more than 15,000 square feet, then we would consider that large scale because the impact would be the same whether it was 3 buildings or 1 building. Say all 3 buildings were 15,000 square feet each, then really there's no substantial difference between 3 buildings of 15,000 square feet on one parcel and 1 building of 45,000 square feet on the same parcel. However, I will say that a situation like that is typically only found in our larger scale commercial districts where we're recommending no square footage limitation on fulfillment centers.
Thank you, Mr. Director.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. Motion to receive and file, moved by Councilman Seer. Councilmember Graham?
Mayor Lee, I just would like to say that I think I speak on behalf of the council. We certainly appreciate all the efforts of Director Black with the high-level thinking skills required quite often, thereby earning him the nickname Justice Black. And we are glad that you're on the mend, and we look forward to continued input from you in the months and years ahead.
You want to second that motion?
The motion.
Thank you. Seconded by Councilman Graham. Any other comments? Thank you. Please cast your ballots. Approved unanimously. Madam Clerk?
21-196 is a communication from the City Manager and Director of Community Development with a request to concur with a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission and staff to receive and file a first reading of an ordinance amending Appendix A, the Unified Development Code, relating to amendments to the permitted use table related to permitted and special uses.
Councilmember Euler?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. I move for a 2-week deferral.
2-week deferral. Can I get a second? Seconded by Councilman Ruckriegel. Any other questions, comments? Please cast your ballots. Approved unanimously. Madam Clerk?
We are at unfinished business. 21-127 is a communication from the City Manager and Director of Public Works with a request for the following. And we'll need 2 separate motions. And also on your desk, there is a handout in yellow. Approve a contract amendment, budget amendment number 1, to the Glen and Sheridan Road Culvert Project in the amount of $60,796.80 for a total budgeted amount of $479,789. And B, to adopt an ordinance amending the City of Peoria 2021 revised annual budget relating to Stormwater Utility Enterprise Fund to additional provide funding for the Glen and Sheridan Road Culvert Project in the amount of $60,796.80 and recognize the receipt of the property owner's share in the amount of $34,259.16.
Okay. We need to take one at a time. Can we get a motion for item to approve item A? Okay. Okay. Councilman Regenbach moved, seconded by Councilmember Graham. Any comments or questions? Please cast your ballots for item A. Oops. Okay. Approved unanimously. Councilmember Graham, you want to take item B?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I move to approve that ordinance as outlined.
Okay. Seconded by Councilmember Regenbach. Councilmember Kelly?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Manager, this went a little over budget, and so we kicked in an extra $60,000. Did the property owner have to kick in any extra?
As the council communication outlines, the $34,000 would come from the property owner.
I'm sorry, that's extra. That's
Yes.
beyond what, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Councilmember Allen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. City Manager, I know that this was a very unique situation. Would you mind just providing maybe some cliff notes to our listening audience of why this was deferred for the time it was, and how do we get to where we are now?
Well, this has been a unique situation from the very beginning because this was a channelized creek that ran through private property that went under a building. that washed out that needed to be repaired. This was property that was annexed into the city in the 1960s. The original development was approved by the county, so the city really had nothing to do with it when it was originally approved and laid out. But it is part of our stormwater system. And so what you have here was the cost share that was negotiated between the private property owner and the city over the improvements that needed to be made. There was a change order that was built in as part of this at the very end, which is really what was just voted on or will be voted on with item B. And that is the rationale behind that, is that we had to pay for that. Over the last several weeks, the private property owner wanted to have that discussion with the contractor to see if that amount had to be paid, and I think that they've come to the realization that it has to be paid.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, City Manager.
Thank you. And this has to be approved by 2/3, is that? Council Peterson?
Yes, ma'am. 2/3 or a total of 8.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions, comments? Please cast your ballots. Item B is approved unanimously. Thank you. Madam Clerk,
We are at new business.
any items of new business? Councilmember Kelly?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I seem to be hogging the mic tonight. I apologize, but we just had quite a few appointments to many of our commissions, which is fine. We get reports from time to time from some of those major commissions. I'm not sure that we get reports from, say, some of the minor commissions. Now, I know we're all looking for more reading material, but it seems to me that we should, on some schedule, not a difficult schedule, but on some schedule, we should be informed as to what our city commissions are up to. And I'm wondering if, first of all, and I should have looked this up, but I'm not aware that many of these commissions do not have a reporting requirement. And Mr. Manager, you could probably...
All of them have minutes, but all of them don't have an annual report or even, or 6-month report. Some of them do.
Okay, I would like to place on the agenda for 2 meetings from now, because I will not be here at the next meeting, a discussion of what should be required from these. Maybe we leave it the way it is. Maybe we require a report or just review the minutes, whatever. But I'd like us to think about that over the next month. I'm not looking for more work, but it seems to me it's our responsibility to have a look at what...
Keep abreast of what's going on. That's no
Yes,
problem.
these are our commissions.
Sure.
Thank you, Madam.
You're welcome. Councilmember Seer?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A little bit of good news again for the second time in about 4 weeks. There was an article in the Journal-Star on Wednesday, June 16th, about Peoria coming on top as one of the most affordable mid-sized city in the U.S. this time. So thank you for the Journal-Star to bring that up to our attention. I've talked to our Director of Communication today, Ms. Peterson, and I think we all know that Peoria's always been terrible at promoting itself. Now it's the second time in a month that we're getting some great press about how we're reopening our city, our state, and our country. And I think we need to promote. I'm not big on social media, but I think we need to promote the heck out of these situations. We all know it does not happen very often. This article goes on so people understand. I don't know if you've seen it. It talks about the competition talks about price to income multiple. with an average house in Peoria about $94,000 and an average medium income of $53,000, we're at 1.8 average price to income ratio. Where around the country, and this I'll call it research, or a study, I should call it. The study examined over almost 600 cities around the country. So I think it's a great privilege for Peoria to be number one. And as we reopening Peoria and the state, I think we need to be a great promoter of what's going on in Peoria, and I'm proud to call Peoria my home, and this is just great. So thank you to Journal Star and Ms. Peterson. This is just promote Peoria. Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Sear. I'm sure Ms. Peterson will be glad to push that out as well. Keep bringing that good news. Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, I just want to say thank you to all of the vendors and promoters and planners of all of the Juneteenth events that occurred this past weekend. I was at the event at the Carver Center, and just the energy in the air, I mean, it made you feel proud to be a Peorian. And I just want to just express my gratitude. I think that's something that we need to bottle up and continue that momentum. So I just want to express my gratitude to everyone, because I know it's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things, but your work was not noticed. I really appreciate that. I look forward to future events like this as we look to return to whatever the new normal is. And so I definitely do want to shout out those vendors and the promoters of that. Unfortunately, that evening, not to be a Debbie Downer, we did have a double homicide that evening at an apartment complex. And so, again, I do want to send another plea to our community. Let's put the guns down. Let's start focusing on the positive things. We had a great day on Saturday, and to wake up that morning with 2 people dying it just puts a bad taste in my mouth and everyone else. And so please, let's just focus on the positive. Let's focus on returning back to normal, and let's put down the guns. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just to tag along with what Andre was talking about with regards to Juneteenth, I had a conversation with one of the firefighters, Bobby Anderson, who talked about the city table that they had set up. He said they had four very good prospects for fire departments. So I think anytime we've got a major event like that, it's a wonderful opportunity to tout city services and jobs that might be available. But he was very excited about the candidates that stopped along. So Mr. City Manager, I would like to see our presence at some other festivals. I don't want staff to get mad at me for, volunteering them, but it was a wonderful event. And like Andre said, anytime, it's a wonderful time to toot our horn and talk about everything that we provide here in the city of Peoria. So thank you for all of that hard work. And just a couple of more items I wanted to talk about tonight. One is, I'll end on the positive note. The second one has to do with safety in and around the city. And I have to bring it up because it is summertime, okay? And I have been just bombarded with phone calls, and I drive through the city. As a matter of fact, I was driving through MLK last week. Let me see, this was about 4 weeks after cleanup, and noticed tires in a very unsuspecting part of the city, but there are so many areas in and around our city, First District, South Side in particular, where people are coming and dumping tires. And just to give you a little bit of background, we have had 3 neighborhood cleanups since April. There's another one scheduled for July 3rd. And on April 24th, when we conducted our Great American Cleanup, Art Ellington, one of our tremendous volunteers, collected 1,100 tires that had been illegally dumped in and around areas. Now, last June 2020, June 27th, that same individual, Mr. Ellington, collected again 1,000 tires that were dumped. So we have found out tires are not the only things people are dumping in our neighborhoods. We found furniture, carpet, drywall, placed in areas during the night when individuals cannot be seen. It's dark. So many residents, unfortunately, it's dark, it's not lit. are not able to catch these individuals. So people have been complaining about the lack of adequate lighting. So what I am hearing from people, they'd like to see lighting. A lot of the garages are detached, and many individuals don't have lighting not only around their garage but in alley places. So we need lighting, we need cameras, we need signs, and this is a serious infrastructure deficiency. And it continues to plague our neighborhood. And you know, it's becoming, we've got another cleanup scheduled for July 3rd. So it's becoming kind of futile. We have all these wonderful cleanups only to go around and find in certain areas these perpetrators have come back and dumped tires. And this has gone on for, I would say, possibly the past 10 years. So I would like to ask the city manager and my colleagues around the Horseshoe if at some point, maybe during the next city council meeting, we could consider whether or not using some of the COVID-19 money would be a possibility to address this very, very serious infrastructure deficiency. We have got to do something about it because it's intentional and it's going on every day. So the next item I wanted to talk about is a very positive item. I was informed today by Hetty Elliott, who has been working feverishly, probably, for the last maybe 2 or 3 years. Build Peoria, as you all know, is a nonprofit. They have community projects that are submitted each year. 30 ideas were submitted this year for community projects, and I am happy to say that out of the 4 finalists, the Potent Gratitude Park, which is a project put forth by Sovereign Grace Missionary Baptist Church over on Martin Street on the south side, won the most votes. This was over 1,000 votes, and they are going to receive $50,000 to help with that project. That project includes a multi-purpose center, a huge park for families, and it is just a wonderful redevelopment project that they are going to begin to raise funds for, in addition to the $50,000 that they're receiving from Build Peoria. So I just want to send a shout out to Hetty Elliott, the staff at Build Peoria, Reverend Alvin Riley, and anybody else who was involved with that, because that is going to be a wonderful addition. It'll bring another redevelopment project to South Peoria. So thank you, Hetty. Thank you, Build Peoria. And we are just excited about what that will mean for that part of town. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councilmember Jackson. Mr. York, can we get a report back on that tire issue? Thank you. Councilmember Riggenbach.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A little more good news. This afternoon, the city issued a press release. I'm not sure if everybody saw it yet, but for those who haven't, the city, having gone through a competitive 2-round application process, was awarded acceptance into the Vacant Property Leadership Institute. There are 12 cities throughout the entire country that were accepted into this. So Director Black and Doolin, and special thanks to Kaylee Dre, Ashley Elias, and Catherine Murphy for their work in putting this grant application together. But as we move forward with the concept of land banking, as we continue to look at strategic opportunities for code enforcement, this is going to be an amazing opportunity for some of our staff members to go to a national institute to get trained on these very timely issues for us. I think going along with what Councilman Sear mentioned earlier, oftentimes we're our own worst enemy, that we talk about all the things that are going wrong, but our staff and our community development team deserves our special recognition for thinking outside the box, looking at opportunities such as this, and congratulations for coming out on top. So we're happy to be one of the 12 municipalities invited to this conference.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Graham?
Manager Urick, I don't know if I should address this to you. We had an extensive conversation yesterday about some of the legislation that is in the pipeline being worked on by Corporation Counsel. Could you outline what's in the works for us to consider?
So, Councilman, I think you're looking for an update on the legislation pertaining to the plan of operations at gas stations, as well as looking at the panhandling ordinances that we could potentially look at citywide, correct?
Do you have any idea when they're going to be brought forward?
Thank you, Councilman. When we looked into the ordinances, we actually discovered that the city already has a licensing scheme for some gas station operators. So internally, we've been having a discussion about how to perhaps better utilize that than draft a new ordinance. So that has been the bulk of our discussion the last 3 weeks about whether or not we should focus or amend what's already there. I can say I think we had a couple of departments that this ordinance was adopted some while ago, and I think some enforcement of it may have fallen by the wayside. So we're looking at where that would fall and which departments would be involved in the discussion.
So perhaps we can look for something in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. For Jensen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess first and foremost, I'd like to welcome Councilman Valpula to the horseshoe, if you will, into this council. We all look very much forward to working with you and looking forward to hear your perspective and input on all kinds of things that we face. So congratulations and welcome. The other item I have is, I guess it's more like old business, but I'm just wondering from the city manager what we can expect for a time frame for the report backs that we requested during the policy session on June 1st on the restore money.
Thank you, Councilwoman. We fully anticipate to have the full report backs and a follow-up discussion with you at our next city council meeting on the 13th of July. So that would be the plan, is that we would provide you with all of the report backs from that policy session that we had, as well as some overall recommendations from staff on suggested programming. So that would be coming to you at the next city council meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Allen?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do want to have a shameless plug for the Police and Community Relations Advisory Committee. We will be having our virtual town hall meeting this Thursday from 6 to 7 via Zoom. This is a great opportunity to learn more about the advisory committee. We also will be having representatives from our residential officer program to talk about that great program that we have within the Peoria Police Department. And so as we look to move forward and improve police and community relations, please, this is a great opportunity to attend. If you would like to request a Zoom link, you need to contact Christina Kirby at ckirby@peoriagov.org by noon on June 24th, this Thursday. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more items for new business? Madam Clerk?
We are at citizens' opportunity to address the city council and town board, and I have not received anything in our office, and I don't believe we had any cards submitted. So do we have an executive session? I don't believe so. So we are at adjournment.
Can I get a motion to adjourn? Oh, there's three. Okay, we'll say Councilman Euler, seconded by Councilmember Allen. And please cast your ballots. We are adjourned. Oh, good. Yeah.